Have you ever wondered about the weirdest laws that are still in effect around the world today? Laws, as we know them, are typically established to maintain order and protect societal norms, but occasionally, they take a detour from the ordinary and venture into the realm of the bizarre. From regulations that perplex to those that amuse, we're about to embark on an enlightening journey into the world of strange laws. Dive into the bizarre world of peculiar regulations that will leave you scratching your head. Imagine going whaling in Oklahoma. Yes, you heard it right. In the heart of the United States, far from the salty breezes of any ocean, lies Oklahoma, a landlocked state whose vast plains are more likely to see cattle herds than humpback whales. Yet nestled within the state's legal code, there exists a curious prohibition against whaling. Now you might be asking yourself, whaling in Oklahoma? How is that even possible? And you'd be right, Oklahoma doesn't have any native whale species, nor does it have any access to the sea. So why on earth would this state need a law against whaling? Well, the answer isn't clear-cut. Some suggest it might be a case of lawmakers being overly thorough, ensuring that even the most unlikely of activities is covered by the law. Others believe it could be a playful nod to the absurd, a testament to the whimsical sense of humor of those who penned the legislation. There's also a theory that this law might be a symbolic gesture, a nod to the global efforts to protect these majestic creatures. By making whaling illegal, even in a place where it's physically impossible, the state could be expressing its commitment to conservation. Whichever the case, this peculiar law stands as a testament to the unpredictability and quirkiness of legal systems. So next time you're in Oklahoma, leave your harpoons at home. In the United Kingdom, dying in the Houses of Parliament is illegal. Yes, you heard it right. This curious law adds a bizarre twist to the concept of life and death. The reason behind this unusual law is as fascinating as the law itself. Going back to the historical context, the Houses of Parliament are a royal palace. Traditionally, anyone who dies within a royal palace is technically entitled to a state funeral. Now, a state funeral is no small affair. It involves elaborate ceremonies, military honors, and is usually reserved for monarchs and distinguished national heroes. Imagine if every person who happened to pass away within the Houses of Parliament was accorded such a grand send-off. It would not only be logistically challenging, but also a massive drain on the public coffers. Hence, to avoid this potentially awkward situation, the law was put in place. However, it's worth noting that this law is more of a historical quirk rather than a rule that's actively enforced. In fact, there have been a few instances where people have died within the Houses of Parliament, but they were not given state funerals. That said, it's still a law that's technically on the books. So, a word of advice. If you're ever in the Houses of Parliament and start to feel a bit under the weather, it might be best to take your leave. So, if you're feeling unwell while visiting the Houses of Parliament, you might want to step outside. If you're a fan of chewing gum, you might want to reconsider your travel plans to Singapore. Now, this might sound like an odd statement, but it has its roots in a very real law. In the sunny city-state of Singapore, the sale and importation of chewing gum has been banned since 1992. Yes, you heard it right. Walk into any convenience store in the city, and you won't find a single pack of gum on the shelves. But why such an unusual law? The decision was made in an effort to maintain cleanliness and preserve the nation's infrastructure. Prior to the ban, discarded gum was a common nuisance, causing damage to cleaning services and public facilities. It was even responsible for disrupting the mass rapid transit system when it got stuck in the doors. The government, led by then Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, decided to implement this ban to tackle the issue. The move might seem drastic, but it's had quite the impact. Singapore is now known for its pristine streets and well-maintained public spaces. However, this doesn't mean you'll get in trouble for chewing gum. For medicinal purposes, like nicotine and dental gums, exceptions are made. These can be bought from a pharmacist with a medical prescription. So even though it might seem like a small thing, this ban on chewing gum has had a big impact on Singapore's reputation as a clean and orderly city. Remember, when in Singapore, leave your gum at home. In Germany, you might want to keep an eye on your fuel gauge. Now that's not just good advice for any motorist, it's actually the law. Specifically, it's illegal to run out of gas while on the Autobahn, Germany's high-speed highway system. You might be wondering why such a law exists. The answer lies in the nature of the Autobahn itself. This network of freeways is known for its sections without a mandated speed limit. So imagine the chaos that could ensue if a car suddenly ran out of fuel and came to a halt in the middle of these high-speed lanes. It's a safety hazard, not just for the vehicle in question, but for all the others zooming past at top speeds. This law is not about punishing forgetfulness or poor planning. It's about ensuring that the Autobahn remains as safe and efficient as possible. The principle behind it is simple. A stalled vehicle is a potential roadblock, and roadblocks lead to traffic jams, accidents, or even worse. Penalties for running out of gas on the Autobahn can be steep, including hefty fines and points on your driving record. So while in Germany it's not just courteous to keep your tank filled, it's a legal requirement. So in Germany, make sure your tank is always topped up. And remember, it's not just about avoiding a fine, it's about keeping the roads safe and efficient for everyone. You might love Winnie the Pooh, but in Poland, this adorable bear is not always welcome. It sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? But it's true. In Poland, a law exists that discourages the display of Winnie the Pooh's image in schools and playgrounds. You won't find this honey-loving bear on any school walls or playground murals. Now, you might be asking yourself, why? What's the reasoning behind such a peculiar law? Well, the decision to exclude Winnie the Pooh from Polish play areas dates back to a council meeting in the town of Tucson, where officials deemed the bear to be of dubious sexuality and inappropriately dressed. Yes, you heard that right. The bear's lack of pants and underwear was considered a bad influence on children. The officials also took issue with Winnie the Pooh's lack of a clear gender, leading to their decision to ban him from the public eye. As for the impact of this law in Poland, it's mostly seen as a point of amusement and curiosity, though it does highlight the sometimes surprising cultural differences that exist around the world. Despite this, Winnie the Pooh remains a beloved character across the globe and continues to bring joy to millions of children and adults alike. So remember, in Poland, not all bears are created equal. So we've had a whirlwind tour around the world, discussing some of the weirdest laws still in existence. Let's take a moment to revisit these oddities. We began our journey in Oklahoma, USA, where despite being a landlocked state, it's illegal to go whaling. A curious law indeed, considering the nearest ocean is hundreds of miles away. Then we crossed the Atlantic to the United Kingdom. In the heart of London, at the Houses of Parliament, it's unlawful to die. Now, as strange as that may sound, this law has a historical context. It's a reminder that laws, no matter how outlandish they seem, often have roots in the past. Next, we journeyed to the high-tech city-state of Singapore, where chewing gum is outlawed. This law was put in place to maintain cleanliness, highlighting how some laws are enacted to serve a specific purpose within a culture or society. Our next stop was Germany, where running out of gas on the Autobahn is a crime. This law is centered around safety and efficiency, demonstrating how laws can reflect a country's values and priorities. Finally, we landed in Poland, where the seemingly harmless character, Winnie the Pooh, is banned from playgrounds due to his lack of proper attire. A peculiar law, but it underscores how cultural perspectives can significantly influence legal systems. In conclusion, these laws, as strange as they may seem, illustrate the importance of understanding cultural and historical contexts when examining legal systems. They remind us that laws are not just rules to be followed, but are often reflections of a society's values, history, and culture. So next time you're planning a trip, remember to do a quick check on the local laws. Who knows? You might find yourself in a place where it's illegal to tie your giraffe to a telephone pole or to frown at cows. Next time you travel, remember to check out the local laws. You never know what odd rule you might stumble upon.